Our guest today is a Cape Town-based slam poet with a very impressive track record. Louw is a 3-time slam championship winner who has shared the stage with several international artists, including slam champion Harry Baker. Hello, I'm Linda Fegisi, and this is the journalist show, Meqoqo. Good day, Kyle.
Hi.
So, Kyle, how would you describe slam poetry to someone who's never heard of it before?
Slam poetry is the kind of poetry that doesn't belong on a page. It's funny because a lot of people, when they think of poetry, they think of like Shakespeare or Roses Are Red, Violets Are Blue. Slam poetry is a lot more performance-based, a lot more expression-based.
When did your journey as a slam poet begin?
Professionally, I think it began about 3 years ago. I've always been writing, and I've always asked to do the speeches at like 16th birthdays or weddings or things like that. But professionally, it's been about 3 years now my journey has started.
What influences your work?
Oh, mainly conversations. A lot of things do, but mainly the conversations I have with people influence my writing style.
Conversations like?
For example, we were all sitting around one day. It was a Sunday, and it was after we'd been out, and everyone was on their phones on Facebook and Twitter, and everyone was talking about like how many people liked and how many people followed. And from that, I did a whole social media poem about how it was a Sunday, it was a beautiful day, and there was like 8 of us, and none of us were talking to each other. We were all just like in a circle, just doing that. So there's those kind of moments and those kind of conversations that spur me to want to write something that's pertinent to that. A lot of conversations I have with my girlfriend end up to be love poems. So yeah, loved ones and family are really what also inspire a lot of my work.
And Kyle, how is slam poetry, what is the role that it plays in South Africa?
I feel it has an important role to play because there's a freedom of speech aspect that you might not get in other places. It offers a platform for people to stand up and talk about whatever they want to talk about, and they have an audience, and they have something, people who want to listen, and people who aren't judgmental. And that's very important for us as a community, and very important for us as individuals wanting to share.
And what would you say hinders the growth of this art form in South Africa?
For theatre-based and for poetry-based, Cape Town especially, and South Africa have some of the best theatre in the world and some of the best talent in the world. And especially with the spoken word, we have like some of the best spoken word poetry in the world. And there's so much potential and so much room for growth, but we're just, the people buying the tickets aren't supporting as well as they do the rest around the world. I mean, take for example in Australia, you can have a 500,000 rand budget for a theatre production, and that, like US dollars. Where here, that kind of money for a theatre production isn't even comprehended. So the amount of money being put in and the amount of support being shown is lacking.
What do you think needs to be done in order for this art form to grow and the support for it?
For the poetry, it comes down to us taking ourselves more seriously and being taken more seriously, and it's a professional. It's the same as a musician. It's the same as an actor. It all fits the same. So I feel that it's only fair that we all be fit into the same kind of category when it comes to our performance and being paid for our performances and being taken seriously as artists.
And you and your partner work together in bringing Voices of Tomorrow to life. Please tell us a bit more about it.
So, it threw me off guard. So Voices of Tomorrow is a workshop we do. We run workshops depending, it can either be an hour workshop, it can be a 4-hour workshop, it can be a 2-day workshop. And we go and we help kids express themselves through the poetry, through the art form. So it's a form of therapy and it's a form of expression, and we also just have a lot of fun with it at the same time.
The things that the children express, is it the same throughout the communities, or are there differences?
I have been astounded. One of my favorite things that happens is, like, if I was teaching this 11-year-old boy in Langa once, and he came to me and he said that he can't write poetry. It's like, I get that a lot. And then we did 1 or 2 exercises, and the poetry he recited was like some of the best I've heard. And it happens a lot where the kids, they doubt themselves. But once they start to get into it, there's a real talent and there's a passion for what they're doing. And that's just reiterates what I'm saying about the amount of talent we have here. It doesn't matter what ages. And the kids they really enjoy being able to express themselves We either let them read out loud or we let them keep it, you know, and it's just for them, it's like a therapy for them, and it's a therapy for me as well at the same time, for them to be able to express themselves in a space that maybe they wouldn't be able to.
Where do you see spoken word poetry in the next 10 years?
I feel like every year it's just duplicating in strength. We had last year was a great year. We had World Slam champs, we had Australian Slam champs, UK Slam champs. We had some of the best poets and some of my role models come down and perform in Durban, in Joburg, and Cape Town. So South Africa especially is being seen, and the world is taking notice. So I think in the next 10 years it's just going to go from strength to strength, possibly having even hosting a world slam championship or something like that. I could definitely see happening.
And where do you see Kyle as a poet in the next 10 years?
Wow, that's a good question. But hopefully by the next 10 years I would have performed in all my favorite spots around the world that I'm hoping to perform in, and have maybe 1 or 2 World Slam Championship titles would be great as well.
Favorite spots like?
Well, a lot of them are in New York. There's a thing on YouTube called Button Poetry, and there's a thing called Speak Easy NYC where they just have a whole bunch of poets just performing. And there's a couple really nice cafes in New York where like all my role models have stood and performed, and where all my role models have started. And then obviously in the UK as well, it's also quite big there. And in Edinburgh, like at the Edinburgh Festival in Scotland and things like that, those are some of the places I really want to perform my work. Teardrops are falling as you rest your head against my chest, and I confess the 5 reasons as to why your love is unlike any I've ever known. 1. You make me want to write silly love poems like roses are red, violets are blue. The 25 years of my life are nothing compared to the infinity in which I love you too. The inside of your arms is the only home that has ever felt like my own. I am never worried when you are with me. 3. You make me lose count. 5, 6, 7, 8 letters from your mouth equal the 2 of us on your single-seated couch chatting till 4 in the morning. Outside the rain is pouring our hearts out. I have finally realized what true love is all about.
Kyle, that was amazing. Thank you for sharing your conversations with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. That was Slam champion Louw. My name is Linda Fegisi, and this is the journalist show Meqoqo, a nation in conversation.